This is Mad Mandy here with Bobberlove, and we're taping an episode of Behind the Tune, and we'll be discussing the tune Relevant Elephant today. Hello, Bobber
Hello.
Love. So,
Did
before
you
we,
say Bobber Love or did you say Bobber Love?
I think there was a pause in there. My apologies.
There's no pause. It's just Bobber Love.
Okay. So before we get started, I do need to do one of these instead.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Cheers.
What are you drinking?
Oh, this is, they even say it, the holy grail of IPAs. It's probably my favorite brewery in the whole world. Dogfish Head, 120 minutes, not 60, not 90, the full 2 hours.
All right. So, real quickly, how did you come up with the title Relevant Elephant? We're here today to kind of discuss music, the stuff you've been creating. We want your audience to kind of understand and know you better, and what way to do it, but to sit and have a cash beer and just hang out and discuss what you've been doing.
So, Relevant Elephant. It was kind of one of those things where I was just playing around with words. It really wasn't a planned thing. I just said it, and I liked the way it flowed, and it was kind of fun to say. So later on in the process, it just kind of stuck. I was like, that's the title right there.
What do you mean it stuck? Were you like saying it over and over in the shower, or when you were doing squats? Like, how does Relevant Elephant, the actual word, roll off your tongue? Because I'll be honest, I find it a little bit awkward, but when I hear it in your music, it flows. It sounds great.
Yeah, I want to clarify, first of all, I don't do squats, I do power squats. So I wasn't working out that day, but it did kind of get stuck in my head, and it was fun to say and see how fast I could say it. Relevant Elephant. So,
Do you consider yourself a poet? I know some people who can write music lyrics, they don't consider themselves as a poet. Do you?
I always say I'm not, but I guess music, the lyrics are kind of a poem, so I don't call myself a poet, but if you want to call me a poet, that's good with me.
So, did the music or the lyrics come first? Like, which on the song? Like, what came first? Did you create the music first, or were you sitting around? I mean, what do you do? Sit around in sweatpants and like jot things down on a tablet, or do you go and meditate? I mean, everyone comes up with lyrics and words differently. How do they come to you? And again, what comes first, lyrics or music?
Well, I think each song's a little bit different. And if I remember correctly, my sweatpants were dirty that day. So I didn't have sweatpants on, but the music came first on this one.
Okay.
The music was pretty well structured, and then I just kind of started mumbling over it, and that's where the Relevant Elephant came in, and then I kind of built the lyrics on top of that. So definitely the music on this one.
So when you say music, how are you creating your music? I mean, obviously you've got a lovely guitar next to you. I do know you personally as well, so I do know that guitar is important to you. But how else are you creating the sound other than your guitar?
Yeah, so this particular song came guitar riff first. That's right. And one of my favorite guitarists is Mark Knopfler, and he doesn't use a pick, same as I don't use a pick. So the riff that the song was based off of is B minor. It's like this. So that's the main riff. And then I put the bass line with that riff. And so the bass line was, I always liked it when people start with the root, which is B minor or B in this particular and it seems real common to run up the scale, but this particular one I wanted to experiment with dropping down and then running back up to the root note. So it was like, so that was like the gist of the bass groove. So I drop down and then run back up to it, and I always like the bass lines where it does the, for some reason, and those just fit together. So the bass line was.
Who are some of your more favorite bass players?
So that's the bass and the guitar together. So
Are you not paying attention to me?
I heard your question, but I was trying to answer your previous question.
Sorry.
So there's guitar riff first, bass riff, and then I found the drum beat to weave in with the bass riff. So that's kind of how the song is structured. My favorite bass players, just to name my favorite bass players, Vic Wooten, of course. I love. What's that?
Oh, I had to. I needed to say his name out loud because I agree with you on that for sure.
Oh, Jaco Pastorius. I love those the pulse he has. Of course, Marcus Miller is just amazing to me. Doug Johns, who I've just discovered recently, I think is amazing. They're pretty much all jazz bass players, which I don't necessarily play like them. I'm just really inspired by them.
And why do they inspire you? Like, and also, not only like why do they inspire you, but how did you find them? It's obviously been a big influence on you.
They inspire me because the creativity that just comes out, obviously from their head, and it comes out through their bass is just, it's so unique to them and to the world that it just fascinates me that someone can express their thoughts through their fingers like that. And I think they're some of the best at it. How I got turned on to most of them is one of my best buds, Harmon. He is an amazing bass player, and he's kind of turned me on to who's cool throughout the years, and I've really latched on to those few.
Would you say that Harmon's a little bit of an influence on you as well?
Absolutely.
So, have you always built your songs this way, or is every song a different process?
Yeah, every song's different, but, well, I shouldn't say but, some songs I write the poetry first, and then just play around till I find something I think links up with it. But most of my songs are written either guitar lick first, or bass lick, or just a cool drum beat that I come up with. So it's usually one of those three that starts the actual the song building, and then I place those pieces in with the original building block. But I also like to play the piano and a little bit of percussion, and those are usually afterthoughts, like the adornments to the song to kind of help flesh it out.
Time frame wise, are you doing this morning, night?
Like, when do I write mostly?
Yeah, you have a life outside of all of your music making too. Like, how do you juggle? Obviously, I mean, you have other responsibilities. When are you doing this? Are you waking up in the middle of the night, feeling inspired? Are you getting up and penciling this in? Do you force yourself to work on stuff every day?
I don't force myself to do anything. I just love to play music, so I fit it in wherever I can. But I do find myself playing a lot late at night when the kids are asleep. It seems easier to concentrate than being asked a million questions.
And so, bringing up your children, obviously, your video has a lot of influence. You can see your kids are a part of this creative process. Why is that?
Well, my kids are pretty good artists in their own right. Of course, I have to say that. But they weren't in the original vision for the video. It just kind of transformed that way. My original vision was some sort of stop motion. My wife Mando is really good at stop motion, and she's not here right now.
Oh, really? It's a shame. She'll have to meet the interviewer.
Yeah, you guys should meet.
I think we get along great. I heard she's really smart.
She is smart.
Very attractive too.
She can be, yes. So that was kind of the original vision to do something like that, because I could ask for her help. But then it kind of just evolved as I got into it. Stop motion is extremely hard, and I'm not good at it. So then I incorporated some of my kids' art into it, and they did a lot of the background scenes for the stop motion. And then it just kind of evolved from that. And then I kind of broke the song into the sections of the song, and I kind of did something different for each section. So we did like a stop motion, and then we did the kids playing with the same animals that I used in the stop motion. And the stop motion's just, it's just artistic, but a little bit cheesy, but it kind of is more to tell the story than to like, oh my gosh, that's amazing stop motion. That's not really the purpose of it. So that's how the kids got involved, and then we just kind of pieced it together through the weeks, just like, oh, this might be cool, and so we just added pieces to it.
Well, and how stoked are they to get to be a part of something creative with their dad?
I think they'll be even more stoked as they get older and they realize how cool it was to do a project like this. But they were really stoked right now. Just like I said, they both love art anyway, so to be involved doing something, and they were both pretty into it.
So I have another question. The lyrics of your song, I know you've shared lots of background information, but where do the lyrics come from?
Yeah, so the song's in like 3 pieces, and then I kind of had the relevant elephant thing, so I was like trying to see how that all tied together. And so I decided that I was going to tie animals with human characteristics. And then since it was 3 pieces, I decided I wanted to figure out what I thought the 3 most important pieces to life, I guess, really are. I should probably think about it more, but this is what I came up with. It was love, courage, and education. And there's, I guess, some offshoots of that, but just to break it down to 3, I thought those were the 3 most important. And so I took an animal that represented each one of those attributes, and then kind of based the lyrics around an animal showing that attribute, that human attribute. So the first verse is about the honey badger, which is reportedly one of the most courageous animals in the world.
And they're mean, right?
They can be.
Yeah.
I call it courage. And then the second part is education, which is smart. So I think one of the smartest animals is the dolphin, and they do some amazing things. They speak a bunch of languages. They always like help each other out, and they're altruistic, which we thought maybe only humans were altruistic, but dolphins display that also, which I thought was really cool. And then love was the elephant, the relevant elephant, and they the matriarchs lead the families, and they combat stress by hugging each other.
They're a kind creature for sure.
Yeah, they're probably one of the all-around coolest animals in the world. Just they got every attribute. They're super smart. They can recognize themselves in the mirror. They love their family. They're kind, but they're super courageous, durable. They're just amazing. So,
I read too that they bury their dead.
I've heard that too. I've never seen them do it, but
Oh, really? Not in person?
no, they never invited me to any of the rituals. But that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
They do that, yeah, for sure.
So
that's kind of, oh, sorry, but that's kind of how I came about the lyrics.
do you feel like what you produced and created is what came close to your original idea?
No. But it came, I think it came through, like it was supposed to. Like sometimes you have an original idea and then you just kind of got to go with it, and not everything is going to. That's the cat tearing up.
I know,
the
what
boys'
is that
markers.
noise? Goodness gracious.
Ruby.
Your cat's name is Ruby.
She's a gem.
So overall with the video, the process, how much time do you think you've put into it?
Oh, I don't know. The video's taken, like, I don't know hour-wise, but it's taken a couple months to put together just because I don't have a lot of time that way. The song took, months to put together. It's the same thing. I'd come up with a piece and it may be a week later before I really got back into it. But, so I don't know the exact answer. A while, I can say that.
So, every Behind the Tune episode that Mad Mandy does here, me, I'd like to ask just one random question. And something I'd like to ask today is if you have ever gone by an alias or another name.
Yes.
And be careful how you answer this.
Pumpernickel.
Really? Pumpernickel.
Why are you laughing?
You want to end this amazing interview this way? Is this a truthful thing? Because a lot of times I've heard stories that Bobberlove, he's a storyteller, which is a wonderful gift to have when you are creating music. Is this something you've created, or is this the truth?
First of all, we probably should back up, because when I said pumpernickel, you kind of laughed, which hurt a little bit, because
it was
you never
funny.
heard me shred under the pumpernickel name. So
it was this name you used when you were creating music or performing live.
Yeah.
I've never ever heard or seen that name headlined anywhere.
Well, I wouldn't say I was a headliner, but
Oh.
I was a headbanger.
Okay. Well, Bobberlove, it was a unique experience to interview this evening, and I appreciate your time. And is there anything else you want to share with your fans about all your new stuff coming out?
No. Very good job by you. I thank you.
I did
I'd
a
like
good
to
job.
thank Dogfish Head for the relaxation they give me from time to time.
Corporate sponsor, excuse me.
Federa Guitars.
Wait, let me zoom in on. Is there a Federa emblem we could zoom in on?
Absolutely.
Yes.
The butterfly.
Yeah, that's
With
very
the little F in there.
very nice. Well, sir, it was lovely to speak with you this evening, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Relevant elephant.